Everybody, today we're going to talk about editors. Editors are the tools that we use as web developers every day to edit, open, read our code. So it's safe to say it's probably the most important program you will be using. I'm going to highlight a few options that are open source, and most of them are free with the exception of one, and I'll tell you why. Let's go over the functionality that some of these provide. The first one up is the Sublime Text editor. This is on its third version. It has a huge following of third-party plugins that can be used within the editor and provides any functionality you're actually going to need. It's robust. It doesn't have much customization in the terms of visuals, but they're not needed. The second one, which is a surprising one, is the Visual Studio Code. It's probably the youngest editor in the list, but it has, because it's part of the Visual Studio Suite that Microsoft offers, it has a lot of functionality that doesn't usually come out of the box from an editor. Some of it is like the debugging aspect. You're able to step through code lines while it's running in uncompiled applications like JavaScript. But it also has a huge extension system that allows you to bring in other languages, use Visual Studio Code to edit things like Python, Bash scripting, any language you can imagine. So this is definitely huge in terms of functionality provided by the editor. It's also free. Now, Atom is a new editor built by the people that created Electron and GitHub. This editor provides basic functionality but is very responsive. It's very fast, is able to read very large files due to its small size. There's a huge following in the extensions community as plugins that can be added on top of the base functionality in the editor, and also gives you cross-platform support. This is also a free editor. Now the last one on the list is the one I use, and I'm not associated with Webstorm or anything, but I'm a huge fan of the shortcuts it provides. Now Webstorm, unlike the rest of the editors on this list, does cost. I think the price now is $60 per year, and then every year after you can renew your subscription for less and less and less. The business model around it is you are paying for what you get. There's a huge support. There's innumerable libraries that are integrated into the editor by default. It has a lot of customizations and add-ons you can use for different things I wouldn't expect an editor to do. So I'll give you a quick tour of that. Let's open up Webstorm. And this is just a recently opened application. If I wanted to have a different view of the code, I can collapse my project timeline. I can add in different views like access to the terminal, which is amazing. And if I really wanted to get into code, I have the option to enter a distraction-free mode and go full, and all you see is code. And for this application, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you're dealing with files that have 2,000 and 3,000 lines of code, you definitely want the real estate to be able to see and look at it code. This is one of the highlights that I think comes from this editor. And there's every shortcut you can imagine, and the engine can support customization for others. So that's a quick overview of the current most practical options for editors in web development now. Thanks, guys.